time, you will know what it's like to lose. To feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail all the same.
The film is, I think it's 3,500 VFX shots, which is a huge number for any film.
Hear me and rejoice.
It was a major sequence, so it's the part of the film where Ebony Moore comes down to try and get the time stone from Doctor Strange. We have a capture lab here who collect data for us and do motion capture and all that sort of thing. And they went out to Greenwich Village, and I think they pretty much photographed all of it. In terms of the actual set itself, they were acting either on the stage at Pinewood, Atlanta, so that was mainly blue screens. The brief was that it was war-torn and trees were on fire, and so all the trees in Atlanta had their leaves on them. So everything that's close up and burning, it's been replaced in CG. So yeah, it's fairly immersive. Because we were on the show fairly early in the pre-production phase, a lot of the designs for the suits were still really only in a sort of two-dimensional form. So concept artists from Marvel had worked those up, and part of our brief was to try to realise them in CG and realise them in terms of motion as well, how they actually would move and work. So Iron Man suit was a big part of that. It's nanotech, and the way in which that evolves, that process was a good year, I would say, in the making. Subsequently then actually getting the look right was another year. So we're talking two years of evolution from the first concept. Robert Downey Jr. had quite a bit of input into how that worked. So it has a couple of cords that you pull, and the suit tightens, and then allows the nanotech to kind of spread out over it, which was his idea. Spider-Man has got his own problems as a CG character, or as a character, because he's so bendy, and he can get into positions that a normal person couldn't. And I think quite often the dislocations in his anatomy that would occur if you got into that kind of position are quite often hidden artfully. The Iron Spider, so it's an iron suit. The studio was less interested in whether iron behaved like metal or just kind of looked metallic. So he ends up with a kind of metallic looking suit that's flexible. A lot of the effects are defined by the story and the storyboards, so we kind of honed down on what happened to bricks and making little darts out of bricks that fly. We always try to look for reference, and he's an alien, so hard to find reference of him. But then you have a clear idea of what his character is going to be. He's old and quite distinguished, and he's a wizard. So we looked at distinguished-looking English actors like Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, and took cues off their hair, what does their skin look like, and then try and infuse some of that character and posturing into the character.
You exhaust me. Bring me the stone.